Hi, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm going to talk today about how to generate ROI-positive traffic for mobile apps. My name is Rohan, and I'm the country head for AppLift in India. AppLift is a user acquisition platform focused on maximizing LTV of mobile apps. We are a German company with headquarters in Berlin. We have offices in San Francisco, South Korea, Japan, and now we are expanding into India. So before I begin, I would like to highlight how has the user acquisition ecosystem evolved over the years and what its current status quo is. So the first wave of user acquisition really began in 2011. Back then, the whole ambition of mobile marketeers was to be in the top of the charts, and they paid a flat fee to get there. Like, I still remember mobile advertisers paying $60,000 to be in the top 20 rank on the App Store, paying $40,000 to be in the top 30 rank. There were not really any tracking solutions out there in the market at that time, and all the traffic that these mobile apps got was incentivized traffic. Then the second wave which we saw was the wave of where the market shifted to where the goal of the market was to get as many installs as possible, but the market became more price conscious and more performance driven. So when I say price conscious, what I mean is the market was willing to work on a pricing model which was CPI, which is will only pay that if there is an install being driven to an app. At this point in time, with the popularity of performance marketing, we saw many SDKs coming into the market, a lot of tracking solutions. And advertisers also started focusing on the quality of traffic they got. So high volume of installs, good quality, but getting them at the lowest possible CPI. Then a third wave of user acquisition which we saw was a wave of ROI-positive traffic. In this wave, the market started focusing on how much money was a user spending on an app during his lifetime, and how much money was an app developer spending to acquire that user. So basically, was the LTV higher than the cost incurred to acquire that user? The pricing model then shifted from CPI to ACPI, which is adjusted CPI, which is only the traffic sources which were performing well were rewarded, and traffic sources which were not were weeded out, or the CPIs were lowered. Again, during the third wave, we saw many other tracking solutions come into the market. So in-app tracking became mainstream, and even the ad format moved to a native format, which is it became more non-intrusive. So to generate ROI-positive traffic, there are three important phases. One, setting up the right tracking infrastructure. Second, optimizing the app stores. Third, buying the right traffic. So if I talk about the tracking setup, there are essentially two tracking infrastructures out there. One is the campaign tracking. So campaign tracking essentially is provided today in the market by players like AppsFlyer, Kochava, Adjust. So campaign tracking essentially helps us in understanding how many clicks our banners are getting and how many of these clicks are then converting into installs. Then in-app tracking essentially helps in understanding what happens after the install takes place. How are the users engaging with the app? Are they monetizing? So on and so forth. So a lot of players like Firefox, Flurry provide these services. So what we are seeing in the market today is that campaign tracking and in-app tracking are consolidating. Like Firefox was recently bought by Tapjoy, and Flurry was recently bought by Yahoo. Even bigger players like Facebook are entering this field of attribution and analytics tracking. So why is in-app tracking so important? So if you look at LTV, LTV is basically the average revenue a user spends during his lifetime on an app. Now the lifetime could be a day, it could be a week, or it could even be a year. So basically LTV is a historical number. So hence there are some proxies, certain KPIs which we need to track to help us understand if our marketing strategy is floating in the right direction and if the traffic we're acquiring is helping us towards an ROI positive number. So there are a lot of different proxies which one could track on a mobile app. For example, retention is one. Am I being able to retain a user for a day, for 7 days, for a month, or more than that? Second is engagement. How many times are people opening my app in a day? How much amount of time are people using when they open my app? Then the other is monetization. How much money are people spending on my app on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis? Then virality. Are people sharing my app on Facebook, on social media network? Are people talking about my app? So there are different metrics and proxies which one could track to get an understanding if the app marketing strategy which they're using is correct and if it's LTV optimized. So higher the engagement, higher the retention, higher the monetization is what we see. The bigger the virality, so virality essentially increases the number of organic downloads one gets, and that drives down the CPI, essentially helping us in raising the ROI, acquiring ROI positive traffic. So then the second element is App Store optimization. Now, App Store and Google Play, Apple App Store and Google Play Store have different algorithms. Today, both these stores have more than 2 million to 3 million apps out there. And every day, thousands and thousands of apps are being uploaded on these stores. Now, it's very important, like if you look at the Apple App Store, the way the algorithm works is basically Apple allows you to put in 100 keywords. And these keywords should be used properly so that they describe your app, so they powerfully describe your app. Whereas on Google Play Store, it works a little differently. It matters how your app, the description of your app which you provide, and it's recommended that you do not really fill it in with a lot of different words. Then again, to comment and to review these apps, people have to be registered on iTunes or people have to be registered on Google+. So a lot of reviews which people write help us in getting up the rankings and increasing the visibility on these respective app stores. So I'll not get into details, but if you want to refer, you can refer to the ebook which is on our website here. Then moving on, traffic buy. So identifying the right traffic sources is very important. So identifying traffic sources which are performance-based, meaning traffic sources which are willing to work with you on a CPI model or a CPA model is important. Then traffic sources which are giving you traffic which is non-incentivized is also important. Just getting incentivized traffic and only getting as many installs as possible doesn't really help in the long run. Hence, focusing on quality and what kind of installs are you getting is important. Third, working with the right ad formats. So the ad formats, if they're non-intrusive, people really engage very powerfully with them. So all in all, if you set up the right tracking solutions, if you track the right proxies, if you do the App Store optimization and find the right traffic sources, you will see the LTV is going to be greater than CPI, and hence you're going to produce an ROI positive traffic. So talking about the non-intrusive element, if you look at a game here, there is an advertisement there which is a native advertisement of Candy Crush. So the user is basically incentivized to click on this to earn certain points in this game. And Candy Crush has got a lot of installs through this native advertisement. And so native advertisement today is a very powerful tool which the market is using. So if you want to start doing user acquisition, it is recommended that you plan it out a month in advance, figure out which tracking solution and in-app tracking solutions you want to use, which proxies you want to track. Second, get your creatives, prepare your creatives, identify networks which you want to work with, and do some test campaigns. so that when the campaign is finally launched, you can optimize your traffic sources each day, and you can check for feedback you're getting from the community at large. So that's it from my side. Thank you for your attention. Thanks.
Any questions that you might have in terms of all clear? All right, thanks, Rohan.